Ladies and gentlemen, let us now begin our next session, How Robots Will Change Our Lives.
All right. Well, that was some spectacular starting music. Good afternoon. My name is Dennis Hong, and welcome to the MBN Y Forum 2016. This is session number 3, the Future Show. My name is Dennis Hong. I will be the moderator and is one of the speakers for this session. So what's going to happen is we have some really exciting, great guests here today. And all of us, each of us, we're going to give a 10-minute presentation. And after that, we're going to have a discussion. And if time permitting, we're going to open up a Q&A session for the general audience. Let me quickly start by introducing some of our guests. So over here is John Bernev. So when you say future, what comes into your mind? What's the iconic image that comes into your head? Well, besides robots, everybody thinks about flying cars, and the flying cars has actually become reality. So John is a vice president of development at a company called Terrafugia, and Terrafugia is bringing the future today. So they're developing flying cars, and I believe it's going to be in production soon, next year?
Well, no, 2023.
2023, okay.
That's close.
Sign me up. I'll be one of the first to buy it. So I'm very excited to hear his vision for the future for transportation. And then next is Alyssa Carson. And the young lady is 15 years old, and she has one of the most brilliant dream and the excitement energy. Her dream is to become the very first person to step on Mars. How cool is that? So we'll be hearing what she has to say about pursuing her dream, and you'll be able to feel her passion for following her dream. And the third speaker is Donald Coolidge. Donald Coolidge is the co-founder and the president, CEO of a company called Elemental Path. So this company is developing some revolutionary technology. They're building toys, not just regular toys. These are smart, intelligent toys for education and for entertainment. Oh, I don't know if you're gonna have a demonstration. Have you brought the toy today here? No, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Sure, okay. So these toys, I don't want to spill all the surprises, but you can talk, have a conversation with them, and you can learn math and science. It's going to be fantastic. And again, my name is Dennis Hong. I'm a professor at UCLA. I build robots. I do research in robotics, and also the director of the Robotics and Mechanisms Laboratory. Well, with that, should we start the session? Okay. Then I'll start by giving my quick 10-minute presentation. Thank you. 한국말 잘하는데요. 영어로 해야 돼요. 그래서 영어로 할게요. Okay, so in our lab, Romela, we developed many incredible robots and machines, from autonomous vehicles to climbing robots, chemically actuated robots, 3-leg, 5-leg robots, all different things. But today, I want to show you some of our latest development in humanoid robots. Humanoid robots are robots that look like humans, 2 legs, torso, 2 arms, and a head. Now, if you look at Hollywood movies or pop culture, most of the times, robots are depicted in the humanoid form. So we're developing some of those. So what you see over there, that robot on the left is called Sapphire, shipboard autonomous firefighting robot. And we're developing these humanoid robots for fighting fires on Navy ships. This one is called Thor, Tactical Hazardous Operations Robot. This robot is to save humanity. When you have disasters, these robots go and then can do all the things that a rescue robot does. So some of the robots over here, it needs to do everything a human needs to do, so it has the same range of motion as a human. It can climb ladders, drive cars, and do those kind of things. This one is called Charlie, stands for Cognitive Humanoid Autonomous Learning Intelligence. This robot is considered the United States' very first full-size autonomous robot. Now, among many things, we use robot Charlie for a competition called RoboCup. Now, RoboCup is an international autonomous robot soccer competition. So we have a team of robots play soccer against other robots. The official goal of RoboCup is by the year 2050, have a team of robotic soccer players play soccer against the human World Cup champions and win. This is true. So every year we develop technologies. So this match is in 2011. Gives you an idea. So look at the robot. He's looking around, searching for the ball. He dribbles the ball to the other side, and he tries to kick the ball into goal. Everything fully
Let's
autonomous.
go, Hokies! Yeah!
So what you see over there is not remote control. Everything is using artificial intelligence. Now, in this competition, we've been the 4-time world champions, and we won the Louis Vuitton Cup trophy. I'm very, very proud of all of our robots. Now, the next robot I'll talk about is really interesting. There's a competition called the DARPA Robotics Challenge. Now, this competition is inspired by an event, a very tragic event. In Japan, 4 or 5 years ago, the nuclear power plant in Fukushima Daiichi, there was a big accident. A lot of people died, and still, it's a very big problem. I actually was there. The Japanese government invited me to actually go into the nuclear reactor after the accident. And the experts tell us that in the first 24 hours, if somebody could have just opened one valve, we could have prevented everything. But the problem is because of radiation, people cannot go there. So what do? We develop robots to do that. So this is actually a competition. So each team who's chosen is invited needs to build a robot that can do these 8 tasks. The robot needs to drive a car, get out of a car, open a door, go through the door, open and close valves, use a power tool to cut a hole out of the wall, and climb ladders and do all these kind of things. It's when they announced it, everybody thought it was impossible. A lot of research engineers like myself, roboticists, took the challenge because what we really try to do here is to develop technology that one day will save people's lives. That's what we're trying to do. Our team is Team Thor. Let me show you a quick video of the competition.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the DARPA Robotics Challenge of 2015.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your
And
robots.
the competition starts.
Okay, I'm running IMU.
Running IMU.
Okay, we're good.
Task number 1 is to drive the car. The robot drive the car flawlessly. Mission number 1, success. Now the robot couldn't get out of the car, so we had to manually take it out, but we just got 10 minutes penalty, so that's good. Second mission is to open a door and go through the door. Open the door, push it open, and we are going through slowly, steadily, and elegantly we pass the door. Mission number 2, clear. Mission number 3 is to open and close valves. The robot approaches the valve, getting close, almost there, and mission number 3, clear. Mission number 4 is to use a power tool to cut a hole out of the wall. It's actually drywall over there, the black spot. So the robot goes there, and it picks up the drill. Mission number 1, driving flawlessly. Mission number 2, going through the door perfectly. Mission number 3, closing the valve, excellent. Mission number 4, something went wrong, and our robot falls, and it completely destroys the robot. So with this, our robot is completely broken, so we're out of the game. It was very unfortunate. Now, I want to show you a quick thing. So there's a lot of robotics research labs, brilliant people around the world, but what makes us, Romela, different from the other research labs is the robots that I'm showing you over here, these are very, very expensive. It's a one-of-a-kind prototype, so you don't want to break it. So when you do experiments, you babe it. However, in our lab, I challenge our students. I tell them to make it go faster, make it go stronger, push it. I want you to break the robot. Because if your robot doesn't break, you don't get to learn anything. And it's the same with people too. So we've been participating in all the big robotics competition. We always win the first place. And this was the very first we failed. However, that's not the end of the challenge. It's just the beginning of the next one. Our disaster relief robot, after it came back in 2 weeks, we modified it to make it a soccer playing robot because for the last time we were participating in RoboCup 2015 in China. And for the first time, we showed the entire world the most powerful soccer kick, and we amazed the world. And guess what happened? You remember that we were 4-time world champions? With this robot, we are the 5-time world champions in RoboCup. So I want to end my talk to show you something. I haven't shown you this to anyone, so you're the very first to see this. This is our secret project in our lab, and you're the very first to see it. First time unveiling it. Now, we've been working with humanoid robots for the past 10 years, a decade. And humanoid robots, I still truly believe in it, but they're too slow, they fall down, too expensive, too complicated. We really have a long, long way to go, but we need to use them right now. So we scientists and engineers, when we have a problem, we use science and math to solve the problem. We solve the problem, but that creates another one. So you solve the problem again, that creates another one. And you constantly deep the hole, deeper and deeper and deeper, until we're in the bottom. So that's the current state of the art in bipedal locomotion. So what I want to do is, I want to stop, climb out of the hole, and take one step backwards, and actually try to revisit the notion of human walking. Why is it so difficult? And this is what we found. Now, this is a typical humanoid robot. So when it needs to walk forward, it walks forward. But there's a gap between your left and right leg. And your leg moves forward and backward, up and down. That creates a unwanted 흔들리는 motion this way and an unwanted motion this way. And that's one of the reasons why it's very difficult to do. Now, this is a competition called Robo-1. It's very popular in Japan. This is not a research robot. It's a remote-controlled robot 격투기 대회, right? Now, if you look at these robots, they're fast, they're agile, and they're very stable. Look at that. It's very amazing. But if you look at them, they walk brilliantly, but they do not fall down. Have you noticed something? They always walk sideways. They're always sideways. Because if you walk sideways, you do not have that gap anymore. And that's brilliant. The problem of working sideways for these robots is you're not really using your knees, not using your knees. So what do? We move our knees this way. Right? Doesn't make sense? And if you're going to do that, let's just make this different and just turn the whole body. So the robot walks like this. So this is a new type of robot. Now, if we're going to make changes, let's make more changes. In this configuration, you're not really using your feet anymore. So we get rid of the ankles, all the four motors, and we just have bars. If you're going to make changes, let's make more. So we change the shin like this. I'm going to talk about why we're doing that. And let's make more changes and change the head. So this is a new type of bipedal robot. And this is the first time I'm unveiling it to the world. This is called Project Naviros, non-anthropomorphic bipedal robotic system. It's a bipedal robot that does not look like a human. So let me show you some dynamic simulation. It walks like this, very simple, elegant, and very stable. I'll show you something surprising. I told you about that robot Sapphire that needs to put fires on Navy ships. Now, when you open a door in the ships, they have a really high door seal, 문지방, right? Very high. So if you go over that, it's very difficult. What we can do is this. Because you have a new type of shin, you can rotate your knee. And this, you go through the doors. Isn't that brilliant? Right? You don't have to go like this anymore. Now, climbing upstairs is a big challenge. For us, it's easy. We do this. Isn't that cool? So in less than 2 weeks, from idea to research to design to fabrication to experiment, this is what we come up with. You'll be surprised you haven't seen anything like this before. This is the first prototype of Naviros. It's very dynamic. You can see that, right? With only 4 motors, no feedback, and it walks like that.
You're wild.
Not only that, but it can express its emotion by motion. Look at it. The robot is now very happy. Happy. 행복해요. 즐거워요. 여러분 만났어요. It can also jump around. So these are some of the robots I want to show you. So again, I think we're running out of time. But so that was a quick presentation about some of the recent work that we're doing at Romela. So what do you think? I have a dream. In the future, I want to have a robot in my home. 가정부 robot, right? 설거지 해주고 빨래도 해주고. I would like to have a robot like that. Do you think we'll have a robot something like that in the future? Maybe? We talked about RoboCup. Do you think we'll have robots that will play soccer against the human World Cup champions and win by 2015? Maybe. We'll have man-made disasters, future natural disasters. And we want to use these robots for rescuing people's lives and saving people. Do you think we'll be able to save humanity with these robots? To do that, we're working very hard even today. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So the next presentation will be done by John. I'm very excited to hear more about the flying cars.
Dennis, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to change the tone a little bit from vehicles that are on the ground to vehicles on in the air and the ground. So, 안녕하세요. I'm really excited to share with you today the terrafugia vision and for a revolution in personal transportation. That revolution is alive and well today, and it's going to be a big part of your future. Terrafugia is the global leader in flying cars. When you Google flying cars, the only real company you see is Terrafugia, but there are competitors. The dream started in 2006 at MIT. Carl Dietrich, our CEO, the tall gentleman in the middle, and Sam Schweigert they received their PhD in 2006. In 2006, Carl was also the winner of the coveted Lemelson Award for Innovation. And also in 2006, the 5 co-founders received the also coveted award for the best business plan from MIT. And so Carl and Sam, both being pilots, they said, what do we want to do? They both had a dream. They wanted to make a real difference in personal transportation. And they said, let's go and design and build a flying car, and thus the origin of Terrafugia. Our vision, the Terrafugia vision, is to make flying cars a practical reality. So flying cars have been around since 1918, 1946. And it's also to provide a new dimension of personal transportation freedom to all. So if you can imagine that, this isn't just going to be a toy for some, it's going to be a toy for all. The vehicle that's shown there is our next generation vehicle, and I'll describe it more. It's called the TFX. The TFX, we are convinced that this is going to be, that flying cars and the TFX configuration will be real in the next decade. The technology is there to do this today, unquestionably. Nobody I've talked to has ever questioned that. The regulatory issues are the issue, and we are working as a company with the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and the Federal Aviation Administration on simplified vehicle operation, simplified user interface. The FAA has been mandated in the United States to make the national airspace safe for unmanned aerial systems. Those are all very positive moves for Terrafugia. So no startup really wants to start without some kind of economic justification, market justification. What is the market justification? The background that you see here is traffic congestion. I'll touch on 2 such market drivers that say the time is right for flying cars. Traffic congestion is one. At a time when people's time is more valuable than ever, the average commuter travels at 17 miles an hour and commutes for an hour. The productivity cost globally is $800 billion. In the United States, it's $120 billion. For people who like numbers, there's economic and market justification. The second market driver is general aviation. That is definitely a competitor or an alternate mode of transportation for us in the flying car business. And the real issue with general aviation is the safety of general aviation. The leading cause of pilot death and vehicle crashes is pilots flying visual flight rules. They have to get to their destination, they encounter bad weather, and what do? They fly into it and they don't make it out. If you have a flying car, you'd land, drive to your destination, perhaps fly again. If you have a flying car, you don't sit in that type of congestion. And above all, overarching all this is the global pressure for investment in innovation and disruptive technology, and if there's one disruptive technology, it is flying cars. Is that the coolest thing you've ever seen? So that's our first generation, and we call it Transition. It's a 2-seat folding wing, as you can see, 100 nautical mile, 400 nautical mile range. Building that started in 2006, first vehicle flying 3 years later. But all that came with a cost. Shown here is our team at the MIT wind tunnel, countless hours in the wind tunnel, countless hours in a 3,800 square foot facility to lay up carbon fiber for the fuselage, countless hours on the speedway and the track demonstrating the roadability of this aircraft, and countless hours working with the National Highway Transportation Safety Board, working with the FAA, working with the EPA, et cetera, and all that with a team of about 5 or 6 people. Very limited funding, but the dream was very, very much alive. The dream was given a shot in the arm in 2012, and you can only imagine both of these incidents. 2012, we took Transition down to the New York International Auto Show, and it basically stopped everything cold. In 2013, Carl was also on Good Morning America and the Today Show about flying cars. Somewhat unheard of. In 2013, we flew Transition and drove it at the Oshkosh Air Show, which, based on volume and number of aircraft, is the biggest air show in the world, bigger than Paris. And this gave us a real shot in the arm in terms of investors and in terms of buyers. The phones started to ring off the hook, and you can only imagine why. Today, we have a 30,000 square foot facility, we have 30 employees, and the dream is more alive and well than ever. With disruptive technology, you really want to know there are other guys out there, that they're competitors. Shown here is a myriad of competitors. The Chinese with EHang. Joby is a California competitor. Our biggest competitor is probably Z-Aero. The Germans are here, the Dutch, and the Slovakians. But all the while, we're paying very close attention to changes in technology. So our dream has morphed to a much more bold vehicle than Transition, to a vehicle that has no limitations. And it's based on the global economic factors and technology trends. And some of these technology trends are shown here. Collision avoidance systems and sense and avoid that have been developed through unmanned aerial vehicles. The drone technology, and everybody's heard of what Amazon is doing with drones and delivery of packages. ADS-B, which is a digital data system that allows vehicles to talk to one another, not pilot to pilot, but vehicle to vehicle. So you can imagine vehicles flocking in the airspace with flocking algorithms because they know where everybody is. There's no question. There's nothing going to be up there but flying cars and planes. The FAA next gen commercial architecture, the chances are pretty good that the last time you flew, you took off on autopilot, you cruised on autopilot, and you landed on autopilot. That is a huge enabler globally for the type of vehicle that we have with a flying car. Driverless cars, driverless buses in Germany, and then distributed electric power. So what we decided that we really wanted to do is to take those technology trends and macroeconomic trends and develop a vehicle that is safer than a car, i.e. it uses collision avoidance, sense and avoid. It's faster than a car, 200 nautical miles. It's simpler than a car, semi-autonomous. You're gonna get in this vehicle, you're gonna key in your waypoints, and you're gonna go to your destination. Also, and then more convenient, you're going to be able to park your flying car in your single car garage, and you're going to be able to take off vertically and land vertically, very near your house, but probably not at your house. And then sustainable is a huge force today. We're talking about electric, a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle that could be electric. If it's a short mission, it would be all electric. So what I want to do is I want to show you, my get-off is to show you the video of this vehicle. So I'm going to ask 2 questions, and I think the answer should be the same for both. Please stand up if you can't imagine that happening in the not-too-distant future and you don't want one. I don't see anybody standing up. So this, I have to be honest, is a computer graphics simulation. We're talking 2023 production for that, so anybody that wants to take an order, come on up after the show. Where we are in the process, we're in the concept design. I am an engineer by training. I work with the guys and live with the guys day in and day out. And as I said at the start, this is going to happen. I think that's it. So, kamsahamnida.
Thanks, John. That's fantastic. You got me all excited. The future is here. The next speaker will be Alyssa. She's going to be sharing her excitement about following her dream to become the first person to Mars. Alyssa? Yeah.
So, on a clear night, I love to look up at the sky and search for one specific planet. Now, it looks as small as a dot. Some of you may call it the red planet or Mars. I call it home. My earliest memory was at 3 years old, and I was watching a cartoon where creature friends would go on imaginary adventures in their backyard. Now, one of the episodes was the mission to Mars. It looked so exciting, so I went running to my dad to find out if humans had really been to Mars. He told me that man had been to the moon, but not Mars. But it'd be my generation who would go there and become the Mars generation. Now, at that moment, something in my heart got awakened. I realized, even at 3 years old, that I was born on planet Earth with a mission to be one of the first to land on the red planet. Since then, I have dedicated my life to training, learning, and teaching. I'm taking all of the necessary steps required and work hard every day in order to make this dream a reality. Every time I talk about this mission to go to Mars, I'm always asked, why should humans go to Mars? And how will this help change the world? I'm always reminded of a Greek proverb. A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. This proverb teaches us the importance of planning ahead for future generations. Our ancestors have explored and made our world a better place for all of us to live in, and the mission to Mars will do the same. Now, the current plans are to start sending humans to Mars in about 20 years. Some programs are one way, like Mars One in the Netherlands, and some include a return trip. We know with the technology we have now, we could terraform Mars in about 300 years to become another Earth, for us to have a place to live and another point to leave from to explore further into space. Now, it may sound like a lot of time to terraform Mars, but remember how many centuries we have been here on Earth. In only 55 years, we went from sending the first man into space, Yuri Gagarin, to where we are today. We have walked on the moon, had a satellite leave our solar system, and sent rovers and probes all over the solar system, and landing on other planets, including Mars. Think about how technology is increasing and what technology we will have in 20 years. Now, there are many risks related to going to Mars. Are you aware of these risks? Even with all of these risks, I believe the rewards are worth it. The mission to Mars may sound like science fiction or an unreachable goal, but once we achieve it, the universe will open up to us, and we'll start exploring other planets. Only then can our human race survive what we could here on planet Earth. Now, throughout my journey, I have been blessed with amazing experiences. One of my proudest moments was at age 12, being selected for the NASA MER 10 panel to discuss future missions to Mars in the 2030s. The other panelists were PhDs and an astronaut. It was so good for them to want to hear from me, my journey I had been on, my dream to go to Mars, and how I was planning on doing that. Now, this experience helped launch my dream even higher, And since then, I have learned many lessons and would like to share 3 of them with you today. 1. What is your out-of-this-world dream? Each one of us is born with a special talent, a unique aspiration or dream. I'm always surprised to hear that people block these seeds of dreams and give up on their dreams due to fear and worry. Also to my surprise is the number of adults that look back at their lives only to wish they had worked to follow their dream from an early age. My story, my dream, that in 2033 I hope to achieve is the mission to Mars. My dream is out of this world, literally. What about you? What is your dream that is out of this world? And what are you doing to launch your mission? 2. We are all one. As part of my training, I had the opportunity to travel to 15 countries. I also attend the Baton Rouge International School, where I learn all my subjects in 4 languages. I'm also taught by teachers who are from all over the world and native to the language they are teaching the subjects in. Now, I have learned throughout all these experiences that we all have the same challenges, hopes, dreams, regardless of what country we come from, our backgrounds, or even the language we speak. We all want to live in peace, have our needs met. We all want our families to be healthy and happy. My training taught me that we are all global citizens. We are all humans, and we are all one. 3. The importance of believing in and helping others. I wonder sometimes what my dad initially thought about my mission. Did he think of me as another child with a desire to become an astronaut who dreams to put on the astronaut suit and go out and play the backyard adventure I had seen on TV? He told me that he shed tears when he saw that I was recognized with the highest space camp award, the Right Stuff Award. He told me when he saw me win this award, he told me that nothing would stop me in my quest to go to Mars. Ever since I can remember, he has been on my side every step of the way. Because of his belief in me, I am here in front of you today, and I am thankful for that. All I needed was one person to believe in me completely, which led to all the incredible people in my life that are part of this giant step for humankind. So who has been supporting you with your path? And what are you doing to support others? We need someone to support us in our quest for our dreams, and in return, support someone with theirs. In conclusion, 20 years from today, I will be home, standing on the red planet, while looking up at the clear sky, searching for a little pale blue dot, searching for our planet Earth. I will be wondering about all of you, hoping you have continued to plant trees by believing in your dreams, by appreciating our human oneness, and by helping others. Never stop dreaming, never give up, and never let anyone take your dream away from you. This is a time of change, a time to explore, and a time to evolve, and a time to plant the tree for future generations to launch further. I am Alyssa Carson, call sign Blueberry, and we are the Mars generation. Thank you.
That was great, Alyssa. I think you're serving as a great role model for the next generation as well. And by the way, I believe we have Alyssa's father here. May I? This is Alyssa's father. You must be very, very proud of your daughter. That's him. All right, the last speaker, the last speech of the day is by Donald. You're going to be sharing your incredible invention and product about the future of intelligent toys.
Yeah, that's hard to follow up. Really hard to follow up. I'm Donald Coolidge, co-founder and CEO of Elemental Path, and we are attempting to change the way a generation of kids learn and grow and improve that experience. This is my second entrepreneurial journey, and I'm a major optimist. I'm an optimist that technology will have a major positive benefit on the way we live our lives, the way our children live their lives as well. That robots will have a positive impact, that flying cars will change the world, and that young people, such as Alyssa, will definitely change the world, and that young people, like all of you, will change the world. Dream it, do it. It's a really powerful concept. I think we all have our dreams. We're all passionate about something, but you never know when to make that jump. Dreaming is easy, but pursuing that dream is often the challenge. I would tell every one of you, if you want to be an entrepreneur or you really want to follow your dream, to do it. Don't be afraid of all the naysayers. Don't be afraid of failing, and just get out there and do it. When you know it's the right time to make that jump, you will know. For me, it was on a business trip to Hong Kong when I had started a tech company on the side of my 9-to-5 day job. It was a great job working at a law firm helping veterans get the benefits that they deserved. But I was really passionate about technology and had started building an app with some friends on the side. That app got to about 100,000 downloads, yet we couldn't figure out how to monetize the platform. So we quickly pivoted into a services company helping small and large companies build their technology platforms. I went to Hong Kong with a toy company to help manufacture the product, but also demo the technology. It was the best 3 weeks of my life. On the flight back, I made the decision to make the jump and to be a full-time entrepreneur. Last year, I had another opportunity to do something great. IBM had opened up the IBM Watson Mobile Developer Challenge. It was a global competition where IBM invited companies from around the world to pitch what you would build with Watson. Watson is IBM's artificial intelligence machine learning platform that had actually beat the Jeopardy champion Ken Jennings just a few years before. So we did something a little bit crazy. We pitched IBM, which is known to be an enterprise company, the idea of a connected device, a talking toy that could learn and grow with a child, that could give the child an educational experience that was personalized to each and every one of them. Well, we won that competition, and then we partnered with IBM, and we started pursuing our journey to change the way kids learn and play. If we were asking the dinosaur questions, what would we ask them? Hands up if you want to ask them one. What would your question be?
My name is Amy.
Hi, Larry.
Oh my god.
What would you name a dinosaur?
Sparky.
Sparky? Your name is Sparky.
Okay, you may call me Sparky.
Could you spell space?
Space is spelled S-P-A-C-E.
You are cute.
Thank you. You are making me blush.
Let's play a game.
Let's play Find the Red Stone.
Let's do it. What is 18 minus 13?
5.
My favorite color is red.
Okay, I'll try to remember. You are the best kid I have ever met.
Tell me a joke.
All right. Why wouldn't the shrimp share his treasure?
I
I don't know.
Because he was a little shellfish. I can tell jokes, answer questions, play games, and also make and tell stories. What do you want to do?
Tell me a story.
30 years ago, there was an explorer named Alex who got lost with his pet, Carl the cheetah. He heard a noise behind them.
So that's just a little bit about how I plan to change the world. It's about giving kids a better play experience, but also making sure that it's educational as well. Helping them learn faster, grow faster, but also doing it in a fun way that makes them want to learn. So Cognitoys, they are connected devices. They connect to Wi-Fi. We have a personality engine that we've built that powers that fun, witty, educational experience. The dinosaurs come packed with question answers, factoids, games, jokes, interactive stories, and a lot more. The idea is to build as robust of a platform as possible and allow a kid to drive the experience. We also find it extremely important to loop parents back into the engagement. It's not all about getting a kid laughing and having a good play experience, but it's about getting the parent involved. We unveil analytics on how well a kid's learning in vocabulary or spelling, what types of games they're playing, and types of topics that they're engaging in. And then we also allow parents to do other things such as set a bedtime for the toy or send a message from the parent panel to the dinosaur. We were in R&D for about a year, and nothing got more real than bringing kids in to actually play with a toy. And it was a really amazing experience. We've had a tremendous traction so far. Last year, actually just a few months ago, we were named to Time Magazine's Top Inventions of the Year, right next to Tesla. And then just a few weeks ago, we were awarded the AI Awards, Best Use of AI in Education. We're actually launching the first Cognitoys to market in about a month from now, and we'll be retailing in the US in several major retailers. But I think it's great. We're going to have a greater impact than that. It is something that we expect Cognitoys to make their way around the world. We also plan to allow other people to build products off of our platform. The toys are not just reactive. They're not just giving an answer to a question, but it's really about getting kids to think, getting them to ask why, and ask those hundreds of questions that they're asking parents every day that they get really tired of answering. And we're building experiences like this.
So plane, horse, and rocket. So plane will take just a couple hours and a couple minutes. Horse, it will take a lot of minutes and a lot of hours. And also rocket, that would take I think 10 hours and 9 minutes. So I might go with the plane. Plane.
And that was in an interactive story when the dinosaur asked, do you want to take a plane, rocket, or a spaceship to find the redstone? What keeps me passionate and keeps me working those 24/7 days is reactions like this. And I expect a lot more of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. I'll be one of the very first to stand in line to buy when it comes out. Is it coming out soon?
It is, about a month from now.
Excellent. Cool. All right, so I think it's time to have a discussion with the panel. Again, thank you all of you for a fantastic presentation. So I mean, the future show, the theme is about robotics, how robots will change our future. So let's have a discussion a little bit about robots. So the thing I think is more appropriate to talk about what a robot means to you, for your occupation. Let's start with Alyssa. So again, thank you very much for your sharing your passion. I'm so proud of you. You're following your dreams to become the first person on Mars. I have no doubt that you'll be it.
It's going to happen.
Now, if you look at space missions today, all deep space missions and planetary exploration is done by machines, intelligent robots. At Mars, we currently have Mars rovers there. Now, of course, this makes sense, economic sense. Sometimes it's just impossible to send a human. I mean, sometimes there's a risk involved with human life. So the question I want to ask you is, what's your thoughts of robotic space missions versus manned space missions? Is it really needed? Do we really need to send a person, a human, to Mars? Of course, everybody wants to see a human on Mars, but is that necessary? Is that what's your thoughts on that?
Right, so obviously it's definitely, most of the time it's safer to send a robot because you're not risking a human life. But a lot of the time, sending humans is essential. So right now we have multiple rovers on Mars, and they're doing experiments, and they're collecting samples, and they're doing some of the stuff that humans could be doing, so it's not like we're missing out. But it has been said by the Curiosity team that they could do a year's work of the Curiosity rover in an hour with humans on Mars. And the reason that is because the kind of time delay. So if I tell a rover to go and turn left, about 15, on average, about 15 minutes later, the robot will receive that information and it will make a left. And then they'll send back to whatever company that's running it. 15 minutes later, it'll send back that it has turned left. So in 30 minutes, you've made a left turn. So everything's just kind of slow. And with humans on Mars, you don't have to tell a human to walk 2 feet, okay? You can think for that by yourself. You can think, oh my God, look at that rock. Maybe I should go look at it and do a sample test on it. You don't need someone constantly telling you every single move to make. So with humans on Mars, we could do things a lot faster, and we can make new discoveries a lot faster as well.
I see. So for complex tasks, we need to have humans to make it possible. That's your thoughts.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very important to have that.
Sure. So again, if I may, so in the future, again, robotics technology and artificial intelligence, these things are also, developing really quickly. What if we actually have intelligent, smart enough machines that can do those kind of things? Do you still think that we still need humans on Mars? Is there any is it important to explore as human? Is there, human? It represents something about humanity. Yeah?
I mean, the way I say it, if you have complex robots on Mars that can walk like humans and everything like that, you're still going to have that time delay, and that's something we can't really fix because Mars is however far it is, and it's not moving closer or further from Earth. So that time delay is always going to be there for robotics.
Cool. Well, thanks for the answer. Again, all of you can jump in anytime if you have any thoughts on that too. Well, related to that, let me ask you a question about related to that. I briefly mentioned about autonomy. So, you're developing the iconic future vehicle, flying car. How cool is that? Now, in terms of robotics, autonomy is a big thing. Everyone knows about the Google car. Apple is building a Google car. Uber is building. Now, the future, the autonomous driverless car is also, it's so near to, we can grasp it. It's going to happen really soon. Yeah. So again, you've been in the aerospace industry for more than 30 years. I'm sure that you understand and share the passion for flying, the joy of flying. I love driving. So what's your thoughts about using autonomy? It's inevitable. We're going to have these things. What's the impact of autonomy for these type of future vehicles, including flying cars?
I'm really glad you asked that question because we were talking before about how much I was going to say about autonomy in this vehicle. There was one small detail that I left off that ties into the autonomy, and that is for TFX, you're not going to be a pilot.
Oh,
you're going to be an operator. So about 2 days to train to operate TFX. Now, can that happen? If that in fact is the case, and you're up there, so we're talking about really a revolution in flying. And because of ADS-B and vehicles talking to one another and flocking algorithms, you need to have some level of human-directed autonomy, human-directed command. But largely it needs to be a robotic type of it. It needs to be autonomous, where the vehicles are talking to one another and it's human out of the loop, but you need a human in the loop when there is an emergency, such as somebody on the vehicle has gotten very ill or passed out or something like that. So you need to have that. But in order to have this revolution, and it's interesting, we talk about, we're developing driverless cars today. 2D space on the ground, and we're having driverless cars where they have to avoid buses, and they have to avoid trucks and trains and pedestrians and animals. The next time you're caught in a traffic jam, just look up, and there is an infinite amount of space up there. But for the revolution to happen, you have to have autonomy. It can't be human-directed. It has to have the ultimate override by the operator, but autonomy is the only way it's going to work, because we're talking about production rates of 10,000 to 20,000 a year. Global adoption, could it be 100,000? Our dream is big, and it's attainable. But if you're going to have that kind of population up there, that's annual production rates. The vehicles have to talk to one another independent of the person with just human override. You need autonomy.
Yeah, so it's actually true that building autonomous flying vehicles versus building autonomous cars on the ground, implementing flying is so much easier.
So much easier.
Yeah. So
it really is. I don't know why, to this day, we're not developing that first.
So, in your opinion, for the TFX, the next generation vehicle that you're developing, you believe that autonomy is a necessity for success?
Oh, it absolutely is. It would not work if you had that many vehicles up there interacting and having to communicate with commercial traffic and drones, and let the birds go. But it has to be semi-autonomous.
Do you think there are going to be a lot of people, I miss the joy of flying as a pilot?
No, because the customer base that we're talking about, and I won't go into all the details, but I think the customer base is probably my grandkids. But really, I think it could be anybody in this audience. And there's a different perspective on flying today than maybe when I first started to fly. I think there's going to be an expectation in order for TFX for this revolution to happen, and a recognition that the reason for it is the value of people's time. You have to get into this vehicle, plug in your waypoints, and go. So we're going to have generation after generation that's going to say, that's the only way I'm traveling.
I see. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Donald, so I mean, among us, besides the roboticists, you're probably the closest to actually build. You're actually building robots, right? You consider these toys as robots?
I don't know. The toy is more about the cognitive engagement and not necessarily about any external movements. I believe it will turn into a robot, just not yet.
I see. So let me ask you a rather difficult question. So, I mean, I develop robots to help people. Things that a human cannot do or shouldn't be doing, we develop intelligent machines to do it for the human. So that's what we're doing. Now, in particular, Japan, this is actually a very serious problem. The elderly population is growing so rapidly. Now, people say that in the next decade, we're not going to have enough manpower to take care of the elderly. So the Japanese government is pushing really hard and pouring a lot of money into developing robotics technology to take care of the elderly. They actually have a term for it. They call it silver robotics. So many people, I mean, it's a necessity, but a lot of people also feel uncomfortable. I mean, including myself, many people think that there are still certain things that still humans should do. And one of them is about taking care of the elderly. You need the human touch. It's a human-to-human kind of thing. So related to that, so your thoughts on that, but also in your case, isn't education or the children, kids playing with, adults or fellow friends, is that also one of those kind of things as well? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's such an interesting question. We built this for kids, and it's a cute little dinosaur built for kids. But I was home for Christmas just recently. My grandfather passed away about a year ago, and my grandmother just moved into an assisted living home. And she asked, completely serious, when am I going to get my dino? And at that point, it became really apparent that there is a very clear need for this type of technology for the elderly. You should never look at it as technology replacing humans for this type of need. Humans are always extremely important. You shouldn't be building the technology to replace humans. I don't think you'll ever do a good enough job. And there's always the social and the personal connections that's super important. We look at it as we're an augment to the person using it. We're an augment to a teacher or a parent. We've even built out the parent panel, which is something that's not necessary, but we do it to bring a parent back into the play experience. So I think having humans involved is always important, and with robots or artificial intelligence, it should be used to augment the humans. Human capital and human experts are extremely important.
I see. So it's not a replacement, it's a tool to help augment that thing.
Exactly. And we are approaching our technology in elderly care now.
I see. All right. So again, unfortunately, it looks like we're running out of time, but I'm sure that the audience are dying to ask questions for our guests over here. I think we have like 5 minutes left. I think we can take 1 or 2 questions. So I'd like to open up to the audience. If you have a question to any of 4 of us, then we can feel free to ask questions. 5분 정도 시간 남았는데요. 혹시 질문 있으시면은 누구든지 손 들고 저희한테 질문하셔도 됩니다. 질문 있으신 분? 네, 저희 마이크 혹시 있나요? 네.
감사합니다. 제가 아까 전에 그 테라푸지아 그 분께 2가지 질문을 드리고 싶은데요. 제일 처음에 하늘차가 이제 비행차가 나른다면 앞으로 좀 더 상용화된다면 좀 더 구체적인 지금의 자동차에게 필요한 건 도로지 않습니까? 그것처럼 하늘에도 도로가 필요하다고 생각하고 좀 더 구체적인 비행 길이 필요하다고 생각하는데 혹시 그거에 대한 구체적인 구상이 있으신지 궁금하고요. 또 비행차를 운행하는 데 필요한 연료는 어떤 것이며 그에 대한 연비는 또한 어떠한지 거기에 대한 구상도 있으면 한번 듣고 싶습니다.
in case you missed some of the things. So the question is, when these flying cars become a real commercial product, he's talking more about the infrastructure. Do you think we need roads in the sky? And also he was asking about fuel and energy sources as well.
Yeah, so that I like that question. In fact, that was one of the first questions I asked Carl Dietrich when I started with the company. It's a very logical question. And Carl answered me. He said, no, you have to envision a completely different aerospace architecture. And the whole concept of vehicle flocking is really what's going to make it happen. And vehicles in this brave new world that we're talking about, you know, I said, well, Carl, aren't we going to want to have orthogonal road structure where planes, these vehicles are going to travel north, south, east, and west? And if you take off from Beijing, you're going to, and you're going to Hong Kong, you're going to fly at 500 feet. And you take off from Hong Kong and you fly elsewhere, you're going to fly at 1,000 feet. And the answer is no, because that architecture is way too structured, and it probably lends itself to the same sort of calamities that you'd have on the ground. If you really believe that vehicles are going to be talking to one another, they are going to flock. They're not going to be on a lattice. They're not going to be on a strata. They're going to be all over the place because these vehicles are all going in all different directions to different destinations. So you're not going to have a road structure if somebody wants to get off and go somewhere. It is going to be very 3D and reasonably random while at the same time very structured. The question of fuel, probably another characteristic that I did not articulate, is that this vehicle is going to run on premium unleaded gasoline. So it is a flying car. You park it in your garage, drive it to a landing strip. It's going to have the capability of driving at highway speed, but you can pull it up to a gas station and fill it with premium unleaded. I don't know what the mileage is going to be on it because as I said, we're in concept design phase. We're doing some sizing of the power plants, the sizing of the VTOL electric motor pods, et cetera. But two very good questions.
Thank you. 질문 하나 더 받을 시간 있나요? 하나? 오케이. 질문 하나 더 받을 시간 있을 것 같은데요. 이쪽에 마이크. 예. 그죠?
Hi, I'm a student who is attending Sookmyung Women's University right now, and I have two big questions. First one is for Dennis Hong and Donald Coolidge. I was thinking that if people are actually ready to use the artificial intelligence and the robots in our daily lives, because in some cases there are people who explains that the weapon, when there are people, we can actually divide people into two cases. For example, there are people who are using the weapons to fight against terrorists, and there are people who is actually using the weapons to make a terrorism. So do you guys really think that people are actually ready to use such technology? And the second question is for John Barnouf. I want to know what's the fuel of the flying car, because if it's a petroleum or maybe a coal, it seems like it is not really eco-friendly. And global warming is one of the major critical issues in our world right now. They are basically, these two questions are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. So the first question about AI, artificial intelligence, about this usage. Maybe you have, I'll make some comments, but if you have some thoughts on that.
Sure. It's unfortunate that you can build something with great intentions and someone can use it for harm. You know, with weapons, that's one thing, and I'm sure with technology there's ways to use it bad in terms of hacking and stealing credit cards, but there's also technologies doing great things. I would caution against not innovating because we're scared of the technology. We're a long way away from the ability for machines to act on their own, to make decisions on their own. And I'm really positive about the positive impact technology is going to have. I believe, you know, obviously a robot can be hacked, possibly can be hacked, And I think that's on the people that are creating the technologies to make sure that they're not easily allowing people in the back door. For us, we have a huge push on security and privacy because we're dealing with kids' information. In order to make the educational experience better, we need to actually track information on the child. So we're doing that based on the types of questions the kid responds to. We're not doing things that could add cool features such as GPS or cameras on the device. And that's to make it more difficult to use the technology in an inappropriate way.
So if I may answer it, not just in AI, but let me make it a little bit broader in robotics in general. So let me actually tell you a story, a quick thing that happened to me. So in the presentation, I very briefly told you about a firefighting robot called Project Sapphire, shipboard autonomous firefighting robot. So this is a robot that we developed for the Navy. And this robot, some of the specs, it needs to actually go on a Navy ship. And if there's a fire, it needs to find the fire, go to the fire, and aim a fire extinguisher to the fire and put out the fire. And also needs to open the door and throw a fire suppression canister and close the door. Now, when we first got this grant, this was a multi-million-dollar, really, really big research grant. I was really, really happy. Now, before that, quick comment is that I do a lot of military projects. I have projects with the Army, Navy, DARPA, but personally, I do not do weaponized robot. Now, I'm not saying that using robots for war is wrong necessarily. Some people argue that if you use robots in war, you can actually save more people's lives, and I do not disagree on that. I just don't want to build robots that hurt people. Whether it's the good guys or even the bad guys, I don't want to build robots that hurt people. Now, when I got this Project Sapphire that fights fire, suddenly I was really worried. If this robot, if I finish this project and I give it to the Navy, if the technology leaves my hand, then I don't have any control over it. So when Navy uses this robot, if it can aim a fire extinguisher instead of a fire extinguisher, it can aim a gun. Instead of a fire extinguishing canister, it can throw a surutan, grenade. And it started to really worry me. What should I do? Should I even start this project even knowing that my technology can be used in a different direction? And it freaked me out. So for many, many weeks, I actually struggled. 고민을 굉장히 많이 했어요. I struggled. And my very naive conclusion is this. So one thing that I thought is that if I'm not going to do it, somebody's going to do it. And if somebody's going to do it, I thought that should be myself. Because if I do it, at least I'll have some power to channel it in the right direction that I believe so. Now, also in our lab, when I teach our students, we also have these kind of ethical discussions about use of robotics. And I always talk about the example of a hammer, 망치. So hammer is a tool for nailing down a nail. 못 박을 때 쓰는 망치 있죠? Let's say somebody uses a hammer to hit somebody and kill somebody. Now think about it. Is this a problem of the hammer itself? Is it a problem who made the hammer? No, it's really about the person who actually used the hammer in a way that was not meant. So I think it's not really a problem of robotics in general. It's just an ethical problem. It's just AI. It's something new that people fear, but it's a simple ethical problem that everybody should think. Now again, we're running out of time. If you can make a quick comments on the fuel, and then we'll wrap up the session with that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked that question as well. We're talking a plug-in hybrid electric. The vertical takeoff and landing mode is electric motors, banks of electric motors in the nacelles or pods. And so they're electric for two reasons. One is sustainability, because we're really into electric vehicles, and we're into efficiency of the vehicle. The other is noise. So you're talking about these taking off and landing in and around neighborhoods. You're not going to do that with a gas turbine. You're not going to do it with a reciprocating engine. So its sustainability is a key ingredient in the design. The forward movement on the road is going to be an internal combustion engine, gas-powered, and it's hybrid electric in that. Maybe you need 30 seconds or a minute of takeoff and landing power. The batteries will be recharged by the generator off of the reciprocating engine.
All right, thank you very much for your question. Now, this is so much fun. Time is flying. Actually, we're running out of time right now. We ran out of time. So again, I think this is going to be wrapping up our session. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for all our fantastic speakers for coming. You guys showed us the future. 한국말로 할게요. 여러분, MBN Y Forum 여러분 넥스트 제너레이션 젊은 여러분들 계시는데요. 꿈을 찾고 그 꿈을 쫓고 그 꿈을 꼭 이루세요. 그거보다 인생에서 더 중요한 건 없습니다. 언제나 응원하겠습니다. 여러분 화이팅! 감사합니다.
What a brilliant session, guys. Thank you so much. Let's have another round of applause for Professor Dennis Song, Alyssa Carson, Donald Coolidge, and Carl. Thank you very much. Next on our program, yes, thank you. For your information, next on our program is a special lecture, My Dream and My Challenge, which will begin at 2:15. After a very short break, please return to your seats. 잠시 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 여러분께서 사용하시는 통역 수신기는 이 행사장 밖에서는 아무런 소용이 없습니다. 그러니까 사용 후에는 반드시 제자리에 놓아주시기 바라겠고요. 앞서 안내해드린 문자메시지 설문조사는 내년에 더 좋은 내용을 여러분께 보내드리기 위해서 꼭 필수적인 내용이니까요. 꼭 응답 부탁드리겠습니다. 잠시 후에 뵙겠습니다.